How to build a presentation that doesn't suck the life out of your audience. Presentations can be overwhelming, and yes, they can suck. How we share our information can make the difference between a successful exchange and an awful one. The following discussion is intended as a guide to help you create compelling, memorable, and engaging presentations. Most of us have had the misfortune of sitting through meetings with slide after slide of mind-numbing information. Maybe you struggle to stay awake or even follow along. Not surprising, our attention span has dropped from 12 seconds in 2000 to 8 seconds in 2018. It doesn't need to be like this. An effective presentation should help sell your ideas, your service, and your passion. You want your audience connecting with you and excited for what you have to share. People share their experiences through the stories they tell. It's natural, and yet many presenters choose to share their knowledge with pages and pages of charts, bulleted word walls, and assorted facts. Rather than listing stats, consider how much more entertaining and helpful it might be if you took the time to create an actual story. When a presentation begins as a story, and you make a promise to your audience that your shared journey will be worth their time, you'll not only have grateful listeners, but also an attentive group. It's a complicated world. There are so many paths you can take. You have so much to say in such a short time to say it. What to do? To begin, resist the urge to include it all. Choose your path carefully. Keep it simple and focused. Create a story worth sharing. You can talk all day about how great you are, how big you are, how important you are. But when you make your presentation human, about your people, your experiences, you connect on a deeper level. Notice the difference in approach to the stat-filled boast of the previous slide and this one. Which would you rather hear about? Where will you be presenting? Will it be in an auditorium, a small hall, or a conference room? Where and to who you present may require that your material be built to meet certain criteria, like the size of the screen or dimension of media. Start smart. Build to the size you will be presenting at. There's nothing worse than having bars on the side or on top and bottom, or worse, losing your information on the screen. This presentation was built using PowerPoint at a 16:9 dimension. I chose to use PowerPoint because it's the most widely used platform. My personal preference is Keynote, but you'll see here, even PowerPoint can be an effective presentation tool. Visuals matter. In fact, they could be the difference between a wonderful experience and a painful one. They can lift a presentation, provide essential context, and give an emotional boost you need to bring your audience along on your journey. They're the Disney rides that stay with you long after you've left the park. They can create a sense of excitement, energy, and joy, or make you smile and maybe even laugh, and even shock you with their power or brilliance. You need an opening slide that says, "Hello," something that everyone easily gets. Your go-to, a smiling girl waving. It works, right? Well, actually it works against you. It says, "I just don't care enough to find a more interesting introduction to my story." That bullseye? Yep, it's tried and true, and it's on point. The proverbial handshake. It's perfect for an agreement, and that's what we want. And of course, the score. Who doesn't want to score the winning goal, or basket, or touchdown? We all win. And if you're alive and have worked on only one presentation, then there's a very good chance you've used this one. If you haven't, kudos to you. Most of us have, and more often than we might care to acknowledge. We use visual cliches because they work. They are shortcuts to a universal understanding on many topics. Everyone gets it. But if you want to create an impression, why not think about how you're presenting your idea? Maybe from that heap of crumpled thoughts, a bright light could appear. Even a cliche can feel new if you give it some thought. From a pile of trash, brilliance? Choose carefully. Have some fun with your visual choices. And keep in mind, 65% of people are visual learners. Here's an example we created for a client. We love bullets. We do. Sadly, those bullets can kill a presentation. It's something we don't like to face, like cleaning the oven. You need to use bullets because it's the way you've always done it. You were taught to use bullets, and it works, right? Who cares if no one's paying attention? Unfortunately, all that work you've put into creating those slides with 3, 4, 5 levels of bullets is simply not doing the work you think it is. Many studies have shown that the retention on bulleted copy is incredibly low. In fact, most people forget what they've seen by the very next slide. PowerPoint and Keynote, and well, almost everyone has the template set up that way, you say. That may be true, but it doesn't mean it's right. Resist the urge to fall back on bullets. This page has more than 5 levels showing. Let's say you have 3 buckets of information, with bullets in each bucket. By the time you get to the 3rd bullet, the audience focus is drifting. There is a better, more memorable way to share this information. When you use simple, appropriate words and pictures, and roll them out as bills, as we're showing here, the information becomes more focused. Your audience will easily follow along and actually retain what you're sharing. The 1, 2, 3, the fun imagery, and the simple-to-follow text will stay with you when the presentation is over. Remember, you're telling a story. This example simplifies a complicated idea. Charts rock. We've spent good money pulling together that data, and darn it, you will sit through this material and you will like it. Charts and graphs are logical. They show just how much better we are than the other guys. How can anyone not see that? And there is some truth to that. The place to share really detailed information may not be up on a screen for a gathering of peers. How and what you choose to present may be more important than how much you share. You want your audience to be engaged. If you show slide after slide of complicated charts, you will lose them. Be selective in what you share. Boil it down to something simple enough that you can get the head nods you're looking for. This chart shows Snapchat's growth for 4 years, broken down by quarters. Do you need all of it? Just look at how simple and effective it can be. If a chart has too much information, break it down. Simplify it so you can quickly see the results. When you must, create charts and graphs using infographics whenever possible. We're naturally inclined to distill visual information much faster than written information. The example here is one we created at East West. The stack of numbers shown here can be much more effective when shown as an infographic. As you can see, those numbers come to life and are way more interesting and memorable. Words matter. How you tell your story is critical. As a spectator at many presentations, I can testify well-chosen words are not always top of mind. You often only have one opportunity to make an impression. If you spend the time to bring those words to life, you'll give yourself a chance to connect with your audience. Create that valuable dialogue that's so important to your success. Your headlines, your off-screen narration, even your examples and asides should be considered. Humor, being honest, and speaking empathetically can go a very long way to making that connection. If you believe in what you're speaking about, your audience will be right with you. And all those great buzzwords you hear everywhere, maybe they're not as useful as you thought. Often these phrases are so overdone and repetitive that audiences just tune out. There's simply nothing better than speaking like a human. Mistakes, even not being the most polished presenter, are not as critical as you might think. Having a rapport with your audience is. So where are we? Well, we've actually been tracking this presentation from the very beginning, like that subway map that shows you what stop you're on and how many more to go. The tracker is a simple and effective way to keep your audience in the loop. It's much more useful than simply showing page numbers on the bottom of the screen. There are many ways to show the progression. Our presentation highlights the section in color, while showing the other sections in black and gray at the top of the screen. By segmenting the presentation into 3 main parts, you can keep that story arc building in a simple and easy to follow way. By showing a sliding bar at the bottom, you can even make it less conspicuous while still providing the location. Or show progression with circles. It's easy to see how a simple graphic tool can be a great help to your audience and can also keep you focused. Video may be the most popular content consumed globally. It is everywhere. Your TV, your office computer, iPad, and smartphone. With the rising power of video sharing platforms, you can easily see why it has become so dominant. We share our dinners, our baby's first step, and our graduations on video for the world to see. Despacito, a YouTube sensation. This video was viewed over 3 billion times. Not much can carry so many people along for the ride. It can be an incredibly powerful tool, and when used properly, can help deliver some magic. But when you're presenting, you have to be aware of the distraction it may create. It can take your audience away when you need them with you. Be selective, keep it short, and keep the story moving. Your audience should be back with you when the video has stopped playing, and the pause can provide your talk with some energy. The following video is a short example of an interlude that won't slow down your presentation. Our final stop brings us to the appendix. It's up to the presenter to decide the usefulness of including one in a presentation. That said, if you think it's important to share that data or go further into some facets than you were able to during the presentation, then those charts that show a deeper level of thought, maybe background information that supports your thinking, or data that you feel is critical to share, can all live here. For people that want that level of detail, it can be a helpful tool as they review at their leisure as a leave behind. Presentations can be wonderful opportunities for businesses to share new information, to show who they are, and sometimes to energize their employees and partners. If you think of them as that story you need to tell, they can be powerful tools and can help your business be more successful. We hope that you all found the information we've shared valuable and that your next presentation is a huge success. Thank you from East West. My name is Rod Gonzalez.